Welcome to another Ohén Ratitsénhaienhs update. I'm Kahsennenhawe Sky-Deer, Grand Chief. So there's been a lot going on since the last time I did one of these updates, which I believe was in February. So I'll start with the most recent news and announcements. So this week you might have seen that there was a press conference with the Quebec government and Minister Ian who's the minister responsible for relations with Indigenous and the Inuit, an announcement for a contribution to our multipurpose cultural arts center in the amount of $11 million. So on hand was Lisa Phillips, the executive director of Onerahtohkó, as well as Chief Jessica Lazar, responsible for heritage. We had it at the PK community station on Tuesday, so obviously a much needed boost toward our fundraising efforts for our project that we hope to break ground this fall. Obviously, the council had approved a budget for $56 million for this project to move forward, and I have to stress to the community that all of the monies that are coming into the community are designated specifically for this project. We're not taking monies away from other programs and services. The donations that are coming in are allocated for this because either people believe in the work that the cultural center does, they see the necessity for us to have a museum that will, educate our surrounding population about who we are as KahnawakeTV, and the much needed need for theater. And for us to revamp Turtle Island Theater Company musical entertainers and to have a space for us to have and seminars and plays. So, I'm really excited about this building and when it's going to be opened and operated. So our target date for that is probably around 2026. So again, hats off to the Quebec government for contributing to this project. The Cultural Arts Center, I am the chairperson of the capital campaign. We have a fundraising goal of 16 million, to which we're already halfway there. And then we haven't even launched our public phase yet and doing events in the community. So a lot more to come. I hope you're excited about this as much as I am. It's going to be such a uplifting thing for our community and to, bridge that gap between our elders and our youth and keep KahnawakeTV vibrant in Kahnawake. This past Tuesday as well, we had a community meeting at the Golden Age Club and a number of issues were discussed. We did have a presentation from Ratitsénhaienhs Mike DeLille regarding the seigneury of Sault Ste. Louis, the land grievance, where things are at, as well as the old mill site. Some documentation was provided, including pamphlets and DVDs from the first time when we were looking at negotiations with the federal government. So hoping that that will get moved along soon with the recent appointment of Deborah Corber to the as a Minister Special Representative to Kahnawake and moving along the KCR table. So that was discussed. We had an update from Ratitsénhaienhs Ross Montour regarding community engagements pertaining to the UNDRIP action plan. So we're hoping that community members will sign up for that if you know what the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples are, and just how short I think they fall in regard to implementation and what it really means. So if this interests you, please reach out to UMCK and you could be a part of those engagements. We also talked about the proposed bill that the provincial government wants to put forward with regard to protection of Indigenous language and culture. There's going to be an engagement on May 26th in Tiohtià:ke, Montreal, to which I'm sure some of us will be present to advocate our voices against this. We don't necessarily feel that it's Quebec's jurisdiction or mandate to be protecting our language and culture. It was one thing when the federal government did it and they wanted to ensure that there would be, recurring funding through the Indigenous Languages Act. But for Quebec to do it, it just doesn't seem genuine. We recently seen the Bill 96 movement last year and the bill was passed. We had asked for some exemptions and carve-outs. They did give a recent announcement that they're looking at potentially adhering to it now after the fact. So we'll see where all of that lies. We're still doing a legal analysis on what all this means in terms of, the mentioning of that recently. So we will be attending, like I said, the May 26th session and probably upholding the position of the chiefs within the region of Quebec through AFNQL and our regional chief, Ghislain Picard, that, you know, we think that it's our jurisdiction and it's our responsibility as Ungwehunwe to protect our own Indigenous languages and cultures. So yeah, we definitely don't think that we want Quebec doing this. So we'll be communicating that. A lot of people in the community know I was at Harvard University for one whole week. It was a program that I was selected to participate in. All expenses were covered in terms of the program and meals and my stay on campus, which was such an amazing experience. There was 83 Ungwehunwe from Turtle Island as well as Australia and New Zealand who were a part of the program. And basically it was for Indigenous leaders, not only chiefs or people who hold positions on council, but in finance and, you know, so executives, and basically for us to learn about things that have happened, not only in Indigenous country, but non-Indigenous, that could help shape our experiences into the future, whether it's in investments, partnerships, negotiations, governance. So there was a lot of range of topics that were covered, but I mean, for myself, I haven't been in school since 2008 when I graduated from University of Central Florida. So it was, you know, going back to academia and having to, you know, read a thick binder and modules and then have to wake up and then engage with the group that was assigned to my dorm. A lot of networking, a lot of meeting people, like I said, of different nations and different communities and at all different levels. And, you know, it was just such an inspiration to be in a place like that, an Ivy League school. And, you know, for myself, it's not often that I go on training. I think it helps to, you know, put more tools in the toolbox for myself as the Grand Chief of this community to ensure that we don't repeat some of the same mistakes that other First Nations have learned from, you know. So I think it was a great experience. I was very honored to have been selected and to, you know, I had heard a non-Ungwehunwe person in one of the, in the cafeteria saying, wow, we don't often see people here with braids and ribbon shirts and ribbon skirts, and it's something we need to see more of. And I looked at him and I said, well, there was a point in time where we weren't even allowed to be in these kind of spaces. So it just goes to show how far we've come and, you know, what we can do into the future. So again, that was such a great experience, and I'll be willing to share, you know, anything that I learned with anybody in the community that is interested. We will be having a special community meeting on housing. It was requested, not at this last meeting, but the one in the winter, you know, to see what's happening. We recently had a press conference about housing and some new announcements, but if people are interested in hearing and seeing where things are at and where we expect things to go with the future of housing in Kahnawake, it'll be on June 22nd, location to be determined, but typically our meetings are 6 to 8, so look for more information on that. And I don't want to take too much of your time. Like I said, there is so much going on here at the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake. We will be having a kind of like a summit for economic development with Tewatohnhi'saktha and the council on June 1st. It's an all-day session, you know, just looking at where things are at right now in the community, what we hope in terms of growing the economy, creating more jobs. Obviously, we know tourism is going to be a big thing in the near future, and it already started with our tourism office and, you know, all of the different businesses we have here in the community, and what we can do into the future, especially once this cultural center museum theater project becomes realized. So we definitely need to, I guess, look at some strategic planning, comprehensive community planning, where we expect things to go, and then obviously whatever comes out of this session, engaging with the community. You know, we cannot do anything alone. The business community and the community at large needs to be included in a lot of what we'll be looking at, land use planning and so forth. So yeah, lots of exciting things happening. I hope you stay tuned to everything, the developments that are going on in the community through whatever means you use, whether it's K103, the local newspapers, obviously our press releases, our website. Don't get all your information from Facebook. I promise you it's not always the truth. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the update today, and look forward to seeing you again. I usually do these quarterly, so probably sometime in the summer. and let you know what else is going on at the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake. So enjoy the long weekend. Today is May 19th, and get planting, Kahnawake. It's time to feed ourselves. So enjoy the weekend. Tony Wanage, Nyawa.